and then add in all these extra details. There's no point adding in all these extra details before playing because, as I mentioned earlier, any changes will just defeat the purpose. You know, you can spend hours doing it and then it's like not nice, or it's not fun. They just throw everything away. But even then, planting grass by hand is not funny. I've tried it many times already. I'm not joking. You can try, plant on grass, rotate, translate, scale. Nice. Next one. You could do it until the next generation or whatever it is. So there has to be a smarter way of doing things. So this is a solution we came up with. You create. It's important to create the objects properly with the right pivot points. So whenever we paint on it, it will automatically follow the ground normals on the surface. If the ground is slanted like this, the grass will also grow like this. And this paging geometry editor also randomizes the rotation and scaling and translation of it. And you can do clumps, how big or how sparse you want it to be. Okay, so it's very user-friendly and very easy. Okay, portal editor. This is how we optimize the scene to support nearly unlimited amount of polygons. Okay, bear in mind for PC, not consoles. PS3, Xbox is like 6 generations behind today's PC tech. So generally, once the scene is done, we cut it up together, into small tiny chunks, and decide what the camera can see and what what hides behind certain zones. We call it zones. Okay, just to make it easy to understand. So the red zone, blue zone, yellow zone, and so on and so forth. So this drastically allows us to optimize the frame rate a lot. It's the same concept like most engines you see, like UDK. You know, even with a powerful engine, if you don't know how to optimize the scene, it will still lag. There's no difference. You must know how to manage your texture count, your batch count, how many triangles, how many polys you can see per frame. Okay. Custom shader effects. This is one of the tests where the craft just dematerialized the small tiny particles using custom shaders. This is a track node editor where the player has to draw. See this blue color curves along the track. That's generally the area where the player's craft can move in, and also for AI, for like rival crafts, enemy crafts, so on and so forth. More track node editor is where we add a spawn point, starting point, destructible objects, so on and so forth. Okay, multi-form material. Expensive effect, more like custom shader. You'll notice there are two form materials which we blended through a blend map. One is a diffuse normal spec, the other is diffuse normal spec with parallax mapping. The one with parallax mapping is the dead corals. So you can see the thing pop up a little bit. All for the extra details. So it like pops up. Parallax mapping is an example to fake bumps to make something have more depth than usual. It's actually a single flat plane, but it looks like it has a lot of depth. Okay? Okay, semi-deferred renderer allows for unlimited lights. So generally, this is what I'm talking about for unlimited lights. Very useful for artists because sometimes you get very constrained by the total amount of lights. So imagine you can't really do a lot if you don't use light mapping. In the past where one material you can only have 3 lights. So if you have a lot of them in the scene, you'll lag like from 30 to 5 frames per second and so on and so forth. So we split the render pass. For lighting, we render lighting last. And that is how we achieve it. So all this semi-deferred renderer is actually a post-processing effect. We don't render all the materials first, we render it last. Okay, screen space ambient occlusion. As I mentioned, soft shadow, real time. Normally where artists usually bake max. Okay, just to clarify, in Aftershock we still bake AO. The problem with SSAO is this: occlusion is not so clear, or not so good. Crisis looks good because they use 2 times ambient occlusion, one with a large sampling rate and one with a small sampling rate. The large one will look good for buildings, but it looks like crap on grass. So that's why they have a second pass for ambient occlusion to make it look good for grass as well. But anyway, but for us, we don't want to have two ambient occlusion classes, so we just decided to make AO on the buildings. Everything else dynamic will use real-time soft shadow, like crates falling on each other, and then you see the soft shadow in between real time. Okay, so this without, this after. So notice the clips on the left, you see all the details all pop up from the normals. Okay, you get a lot more depth, it's a lot richer and darker. I chose this scene over a colored scene because with black and white buffer, you can easily see the details more easily. Okay, previous one, see everything is a bit flat because it's just basic AO. The basic AO does not bake in normal map information, it's just the geometry itself. Good enough for far objects. For near objects, we use the real-time screen space ambient occlusion to make all the details pop up. Okay, this is how we build a level. Very impressive, eh? It's like Lego blocks, you just build it and snap it all around each other. This is generally how we play test the papers. It's not pretty, but it allows us to get the feel of the game. The idea, one of the main idea for having a level editor is iteration. You must be able to iterate really fast to get to the quality that you like. If you don't, your artists will feel very stifled. They cannot improve. It's like version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4, version 5. This way, with the level editor, it's like a template for both programmers and artists. The programmer will test all their fancy shading effects, physics and whatnot, whereas the artist is free to build the level, design it, and the level designer can design the gameplay itself. So it's very useful. I always iterate, you must have a level editor. Okay, this is how it looks like before, and this is how it looks like after. So this is the quality that can be achieved in the engine after many months, days of iteration, where you see custom shaders, soft screen ambient occlusion, all the fancy effects. I'll show you a video of this later on. So again, more shots with all effects in.
Yeah.
5 minutes more. Okay, fast one. Okay, another one. Okay, now video. Sorry, fast one. No reminds. Okay, so this is how it looks like in the beginning. Early gameplay test. This is where we just put everything together with a cheap skybox, just to test the hologram effects, get real-time shadow. It all works. Sorry, no fancy music for today's presentation.
I can sing for you.
I don't sing. So generally, this is how we tested it. No lighting tweaks yet. Very early. Okay. Next video. Okay, special effects with as you can see the graph, we have all these real-time soft shadows, so it looks more realistic. In the future, we were planning to have screen space global illumination. So colors will, bleed on each other, reflect on each other, it looks much more believable. So these are the effects with HDR and stuff. That's why bright becomes really bright, pure white. All this is done and animated in Blender. Okay. Of course, everything has its high polygon model and then converted to low poly for normal mapping and so on and so forth. More shaded effects. So these are custom shaded effects for the force field, where we have animated normal textures and other secret stuff to achieve this type of effects. All this is done using our proprietary engine. Okay, finally, a quick run through of the level itself with all details on. I mean, it can be improved, but we're slowly working on it, very slowly.
Do the guns work?
Huh?
Do the guns work?
Work where?
The guns.
The guns. Oh, it's not in this video. We have it working already, but not in this video. It's a very old video, like over a year ago. So you can see all the physics working, craft bouncing around, all those buildings at the back. I think there are about 200,000 grass in the level alone. So you definitely don't want to be planting 200,000 grass by hand. It's bad for health. So everything is just painted on, as you can see, so it had a lot of details in. Future plan was like whenever the player was traveling on dirt, we have dust particles and so on and so forth. This game was, the feel and look of this game was inspired heavily by the game Bionic Commando from the now defunct Green Studios. We were heavily influenced by that. And also by the movie I'm Legend. Remember the scenes where the city has a lot of grass? So it's pretty much heavily influenced by that.
How long did it take you to achieve all this? Basically from day one when you got a hold of Blender.
About 2 years. Because the thing is, we did not use a third-party engine. Everything is built from scratch. So even learning Blender also took time. A lot of shader effects like the water shader. It has a nice soft glow like the evening sun. So this is the type of quality we can achieve. So with the right tools, you can work smart with less manpower. So
a lot of passion. A lot of passion.
You can survive on passion alone. You don't need food.
Okay, while the video playing, we can go to Q&A. You start the video. 10 minutes of Q&A.
Can you tell us a bit more about the game, like some of the features and what you...
Okay, Aftershock was originally conceived as a multiplayer cooperative game, racing game. Where normally racing game you just have to beat the clock and unlock new achievements. We wanted something a little bit different where each craft, where players have to work together. It's essentially a 8-player multiplayer game 4x4 where you can actually, there are 2 teams or 2 or 3 teams, and each team can only use one type of player craft and weapon. So you have to pick your teammate carefully and you have to pick your vehicle class and weapons carefully so they complement each other. That's the only way to, one of the few ways to win. Another winning achievement is like, instead of being the fastest, you take the average of the team speed. All players' speed and average it up. Whoever has the fastest average speed will win. So we cannot have slow teammates dragging the team behind. So that's essentially the concept for Aftershock, co-op multiplayer racing game. Any questions? Programming questions? No questions?
Grilling time, guys. Feeling the question.
I'm feeling the heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will you ever go back to HBO Max?
Never. No, seriously. 2.5 is very powerful now. You can do your sculpting there, you can do your animation there. There are some merits in using a single software package. You don't have data loss between file formats. Okay, because everything is built inside, it's a lot more stable. Of course, I know some will argue with me on this, like Blender can't do this, Blender can't do that. But ideally, what I see in a future game studio will be a mix between open source and proprietary commercial software. Mix between, let's say, ZBrush and Blender or 3D Studio Max and Blender. The reason being this: whenever a studio licenses a 3D Studio Max package, you're essentially licensing 101 features, but